Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is part 6 in our Deuteronomy 28 punishments in the Septuagint. Let's begin, shall we? Quote, "Thou shalt take a wife, and another man shall have her." Stop! Everybody already know about this dreadful deed, so there's no need to harp on it. But what I will harp on is the fact that evildoers have flipped the script. And now your wives are willingly being taken by another. But wait! It has gotten so risque. Another is taking your wife while you are filming. That leads me to a couple of apps I want to launch. One called the Crackerfax. We will troll the internet for evidence, pictures, etc. of her with white men. It will be interactive, so you can take pictures of swirling and send it to our command center. That's right, guys. We're going to have a command center. Pretty cool, huh? There, we will have the most advanced face recognition software to pin the tail on the miscongeniator. With this one, for a small fee or service, get your minds out of the gutter, and with the right paperwork, explanation, and procedures, she can petition to get certain cracker hits taken off of her record. Oh, no. This picture was at an office Christmas party, and they pulled me into the picture at the last minute. Look, see how surprised I look? Type of explanations. And that leads me to the next app, her cracker rating. Just like you must have a credit rating to function in society without taking a serious hit in the pocket, with the spirit of miscongeniation running rampant in the black woman, coupled with the fact the man leaves a little part of himself in her each time, only an insane man would be without this app. I can hear my commercials now. So, you are out of your mind and thinking about popping the question, huh? Make sure you get her cat facts. The reasons are obvious. But don't stop there, because women are good at lying. Upgrade and receive our deluxe Crackerfax app with embedded proprietary technology for double protection from a swirler. Think about it. No more sleepless nights wondering if your true love has been ghetto gagged. But wait! If you act now, for only the price of a cup of coffee each day, you can upgrade to the premium package and receive an up-to-the-minute comprehensive analysis of her cracker ratings. All at your fingertips. You can check it while you're fishing, check it while you're at work, check it while you're in the shower. Why? Because you can never be too sure. Women lie. We have 4 lines still open. Wait, we have 3 lines still open. Order now. Yeah, I know. You guys don't have a sense of humor, and you didn't hit the green button to hear all that. Let's continue. Quote, "Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell in it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes of it." Stop. What do you perceive when reading this first section? Let me say that again. Stop. What do you perceive when reading this first section? I perceive Yah is telling us we will always be working and bettering someone else's life. Remember, it was not common for a Hebrew to have to hire himself out to work. If his family lived within the guidelines of the law, his family should always have a plot of land and an inheritance, thus working for himself. I'm not talking about bartering. People, all of this going into debt just to go to work for someone else is absolutely crazy. Yet, my people not only are too blind to see it, they actually gloat about it. But let's continue with the second section. Quote, "Thy calf shall be slain before thee, and thou shalt not eat of it. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from thee, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given to thine enemies, and thou shalt have no helper." Stop. question, gentle strangers, what did you perceive when you read this set of punishments? Well, since the things mentioned denote a person's wealth in the old country, I perceive this punishment rings true today. All of your true wealth will be taken from you, destroyed, or given to your enemies. At one time, when we were prospering during the separate but equal era, the white man had no reasons to come and take from the coloreds, unless he was just pissed off and mad. But no sooner as the ink dried on the law, they made their moves and ran all of the black-owned businesses out of business. Remember, no black-owned businesses were represented at the money changers meetings. Notice, they didn't buy up the black-owned businesses. They simply ran them out of business. Knowing full well you have no true helper, they already had assurances from the weak-kneed and back-bending colored preachers who would lead their flocks to the financial free-range slaughter. But did anyone notice? Yah keeps telling us we have no helper. Even if you don't believe my spiel, it doesn't say, and thou shalt have no helper until Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement kicks in, or they become highly educated and pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, or get a record deal, etc. Does it? Show it to me. But let's continue. Quote, thy sons, listen up, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation, and thine eyes wasting away shall look for them. Thy hand shall have no strength. I'm going to read that again. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation, and thine eyes wasting away shall look for them. Thy hand shall have no strength. Stop! I think I know what this means, but I will act like a Hebrew Christian and give you the secondary different avenue perception first. Okay, I know what looks like the obvious, but for some strange reason, I think this is talking about a situation that exceeds our children being sold separate from slave masters. Why? Because what I once perceived as redundancy in the same scriptures, I now know it's Yah's holy talk. What redundancy, you ask? Well, in just a little while, Yah is going to spell out the children born to you, our ancestors, will be sold into captivity. But wait, this does fit, let me say it again, this does fit the striking down of separate but equal laws. Desegregation was out of your hands at that point. Your children have not been your own ever since. I wish you would spank your child. Hell, put them on punishment even. Your ass will be in jail explaining your actions so fast, it will make your head spin. Then, they expect you to continue to care for a wayward child that knows they got you over a barrel. Your children are lost to you people. They are property of the state and have been ever since they forced them to spend more time away from you, further away from your home with desegregation. Think about it. Not only were your children being taught their ABCs, but because our teachers lived in the neighborhoods and experienced the white devil fuckery firsthand, your child learned the nuances of life when dealing with the crack hand business. Now they are just one of many being taught generic information, as though all students will have the same equal opportunities with such basic knowledge of life. By a white teacher, might I add, who is being forced to teach who she internally considers the missing links. We got racist cops, city government, school boards, bosses, etc. What in the world would make you think ground zero, education, and known weeding out process in this society wouldn't be instituted, headed, and ran by freaking racists? Now your child must wake up and be at the bus stop at 6 a.m. just like they got a freaking job, as their bus holds up other people from getting to theirs. Breakfast? Don't worry. The school will feed them with the cheapest ingredients their budgets can buy. And with pork being integrated within everything now, they are getting a steady dose of poison before you even see them that day. Yet, because a little colored gal thought the white baby doll was prettier than the colored baby doll, all of you have lost control of your little cherry blossoms. Now they just out here, all half butt naked and raw. Funny, all of this destruction, and 60 years later, the black woman still think the white baby doll is prettier than being black. Go figure. The state feeds, educates, houses, medical bills, etc. their child. You just got to watch them while they're asleep and make sure they don't kill themselves in the process of growing up. Why? So they can take their place alongside all the other rudderless programmed to be consumer peers at work. I know this is a stretch, but thinking you were going to get a fair shake in the land of your oppressor is an even longer stretch. No? Yes? But wait! Now for what I think is the true meaning of this punishment and the real devil in the room. An avenue of thinking that fits each and every facet of the written prophecy. Let's read it again for clarity, decency, and order's sake. Quote, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation, and thy eyes wasting away shall look for them. Thy hand shall have no strength." Example. Okay, we know this can't be talking about slavery because it says, quote, "Thy eyes wasting away shall look for them." Other than isolated incidences, once a slave's children were sold away, there wasn't even the possibility to look for them. Another indicator it's not talking about slavery is the phrase, quote, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another nation," with the key word being given to another nation and not sold to another nation. For these reasons, I have no other choice but to say this verse is talking about foster care and adoption. According to ABC News under Facts on Foster Care in America, May 2004, quote, "Each week," what? Each week, nearly 60,000 children in the United States are reported as abused or neglected, with nearly 900,000 confirmed abuse cases in 2004. About 520,000 of those children end up in foster care each year, double the number 25 years ago. Approximately 800,000 children every year come in contact with foster care system. Example, when trying to research what percentage of children in foster care are black, because of political correctness, the newer figures will not show biracial lines. But I did look in the foster care statistics for 1999, and it says, quote, 38% of the children in foster care are white, while a majority, 61%, are of minority background. But before we move forward, check out a couple of other headlines I didn't look at, like, quote, "New York foster care struggles with racial disparity." Al Jazeera America. Here's another. "Racial bias in American foster care, the national debate." That was Marquette University. Here's another. "Disproportionate number of black children wind up in LA foster care." That was the Daily News. But I know you don't believe those numbers. You think the old scribe is pulling a feminist on you. You know, inflate numbers to such a drastic level It demands immediate attention, whether true or not. Well, first off, I would never do something so unscrupulous. Only your dog would. And to prove it, check this out. According to CNN, under "We Are Abandoning Children in Foster Care," 2014, quote, in 2012, U.S. authorities received more than 3.3 million reports of abuse, representing about 6 million children. For those reports, after investigation and intervention, about 490,000 children were placed in foster care. And of those, nearly 60,000 were permanently taken away from their families of origin. Example, does this not fit the prophecy to the jot and tittle? This is each year, people. For time and space, look up the adoption rate on your own and see on your own if you really want to seal the deal. Wait, why half step, scribe? Okay, according to Pacific Standard, Political and Law, 2014, under America's Unseen Export, children, most of them black. Let me say that again. According to the Pacific Standard, Political and Law, 2014, under America's Unseen Export, children, most of them black, by Rebecca Buckwalter Poza. Personal log. Just as the U.S. looks to China and other countries, Canadians look to the United States, says Jane Turner of Adopt Illinois, a private adoption agency. Adopt Illinois is one of 26 agencies in the U.S. accredited by the U.S. State Department to handle adoptions involving an American-born child and foreign parents. This practice, known as outgoing adoption, is raising important questions not only about entrenched attitudes towards race and adoption, but the rights of our youngest citizens. Since the 1990s, the U.S. has allowed an untold number of healthy infants to be exported to other countries in private adoptions. The best estimate from Joan Heifetz Hollinger, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley School of Law, is that as many as 500 infants, most of whom are black, leave this country through outgoing adoptions each year. When it comes to the adoption of black infants, the European market is all demand and America is all supply. Social acceptance of single parenthood, the accessibility of contraception, and the legalization of abortion have drastically reduced the number of children available for adoption domestically in much of Western Europe, and U.S. agencies have emerged to meet the demand. Example, I will stop there, but I bid you, please follow up my research for yourselves. I'm colored, you know, especially this particular article. It's, well, very interesting. I know 500 babies per year doesn't sound that bad, but that was international sales. One last nugget of information about domestic markets. Quote, more than 100,000 children become eligible for adoption in the U.S. in a given year. On average, about 50,000 of these children will be adopted annually. Example, there is no telling what these sick mother suckers are doing to those children. But let's get back to the video subject, shall we? Quote, a nation which thou knowest not shall eat the produce of thy land, and all thy labors, and thou shalt be injured and crushed always. Stop! Everybody knows about slavery, and we have already discussed sharecropping, so there isn't any need to harp on this one. What? How do I know this is talking about America? Because if you read it with just the slightest of geographical and historical understanding, you will realize that ancient Israel Ancient Israel was always taken for a spoil by those they were familiar with already. Yes, the people were territorial, but each nation had ambassadors in each kingdom, and commerce flowed between the worlds just like they do today. Remember, there is nothing new under the sun. That can only mean these particular dirty bastards had to be either outside of the sphere of commerce or they hadn't been spawned yet. But did you notice it said to be injured and crushed always? Am I the only one to realize, just as the colors reach a certain level in America, an injury happens and we have to start from scratch again? The first thing that comes to my mind is 40 acres and a mule double talk. That led to sharecropping. Then the end of Reconstruction. That led to Jim Crow. Then the Civil Rights Movement. That has led to $113,000 in equity for whites and $5,000 in equity for blacks. Yet, blacks have the sharpest rides. I think you cats call them whips. Freshest gear. Bossiest bitches. Most expensive weaves. Most expensive weed. Etc. But let's continue, shall we? Quote, "And thou shalt be distracted because of the sights of thine eyes which thou shalt see." Stop. This can't be talking about slavery because they had our ancestors' minds right. This can't be talking about Reconstruction because we had black elected officials. This can't be talking about Jim Crow separate but equal era because blacks prospered for the most part, outside of the South that is. Through the process of elimination, there could only be one dispensation this could be. A dispensation where everything is a distraction. Distracting you from the truth, distracting you from your creator, distracting you with witchcraft, distracting you with pharmakia, distracting you with sorcery, and distracting you with your own wayward desires. Why all of the distractions, you ask? So you will not unplug from their matrix of deception. If that happened, you will see how their fuckery is constructed, thus avoiding the pitfalls they need you to fall into to continue their standard of living in the America you and I both know and love. This one act of righteous rebellion against the man will start a chain reaction of unfortunate events culminating in us crying out to Yah. Once that happens, they know they ass is grass. So they had to find the perfect blend of fuckery to reward ratio, so not to damage the delicate balance of white supremacy for the common cracker and refusal to release us from their evildoer masters. But before I let you go, I want to clarify my stance on why I think our biggest mistake was to fight against separate but equal. Sure, I know things were not truly equal at the time. Our children received second and third hand books with pages torn out, etc., etc. But that is what we should have fought for in the court of law, to enforce their own law. By doing this, we could have used our nig foo on them and let their momentum of fuckery absolutely destroy their economy. What do I mean? Every federal dollar they were getting, for schools, hospitals, road construction, etc., we were entitled to the same funds by law. We took the noose from around their necks. Now do you see the true importance and push from Mr. Charlie Fat Sacks to get that cloud of disaster from over his head? Don't forget, the world, thus the world court, was watching. Interesting, is it not? Thank you for looking at this video, and look for the next.